everyone. Dave, I'm just going to crack up because Dave is looking at me with the silliest, like, Joker look on his face. Your crazy smile.
Why so serious, Dave?
Okay,
just smiling
welcome,
at
everyone, to No Quitting the Home Team, Season 3, Episode 7. I'm Renee.
I'm Dave.
With a silly grin.
I'm Jesse with a normal grin, I think.
We're so glad you joined us today for another episode.
Which episode is it, Renee?
7.
Woo!
Here we are. We're doing it.
Yeah.
How's everyone doing? How's life? How's marriage? Renee, how are you doing?
I'm good. I was thinking about how to respond to this, and we're getting to the point we can't say every week how tired we are. Like we just can't do that. So I'm gonna go in a different direction.
Okay.
So today I am a mentor mom for Momco, which is formerly MOPS, which is an organization that our church hosts a group of. It's a great ministry geared toward moms with young kids, toddlers, babies. It's a great support. It's like a beautiful space. So we started Momco for the fall semester today, and we had to go around and introduce ourselves as a leadership team, and we had to say what brings us joy. So I thought, how am I doing? I'll just repeat what I shared brought me joy. So I have 2 things that bring me joy. In the front of mind currently. Mm-hmm. One is it brings me joy when ideally all of my boys are together and we're doing something or hanging out. But last night, all of them that were here were together, which is still kind of rare that we're all in one space for a long time. And we were hanging out in the basement watching. We're into MasterChef Generations. Fantastic show. So we're really into that. So there were 2 new episodes last night. So that brings me a lot of joy, which speaks nothing to like marriage, although you were there.
I was present.
It's more of a family thing.
So was Gordon Ramsay.
And also what's bringing me joy is I love my garden, which we've talked about at length on the podcast, but I also love trying to utilize every morsel of every ounce of produce that is produced. It just brings me joy, and we save so much money.
It's because you were raised in the 20s. You remember the Great Depression.
I was raised in the Great Depression.
Dust Bowl child.
Somehow I have the spirit of the Dust Bowl scarcity. I don't know. I do. I mean, I have the scarcity mindset.
Oh no, we've joked about how I'm a feral raccoon once my kids go to bed. Like any leftovers, it doesn't matter hot or cold, I'm shoveling them in my face over the sink like I'm never going to eat again.
Right. But so last night, what's funny with a garden, which is part of the fun and beauty of it, is you just never know what will yield in each season, even though your space is the same and the climate's similar. So, some years we'll have a gazillion squash and the tomatoes don't do great, or some year we'll have prolific eggplant production. So this year we have 1 million tomatoes, like 1 million.
It's been a good tomato season.
And they just keep coming. And so, yes, and we have had everything you can imagine. And most of it's good. But after last night, Beckett was like, hey, how many more meals are we going to have with tomatoes in them?
Well, we had BLT last night, and there was a lot of tea.
There was
on that BL.
Yeah, I was trying to utilize a handful of those heirlooms last night.
They were delicious, though. No complaints.
Was it disproportionate?
No, it was good. It was delicious, but we're using the tomatoes.
Yeah,
as we should.
So I feel joy with those things, and I feel like we're doing great.
Yeah.
Again, I'm not going to always talk about how tired we are on Thursday, so I'm not going to talk about how tired we are on Thursday.
Just ignore that.
What about you, love?
I'm doing well, although I did something this week that I've never done before.
Mm-hmm. What is it?
First of all, I had a toe infection. We don't have to get into it.
Sounds fun.
But it was a toe infection. It's, I think, basketball related, but anyway. I didn't quite know what to do with it, and it looked kind of gross, which is saying something about my toes because they all kind of look gross.
I was going to ask if the normal condition of some of your toenails contributed to the infection.
It's possible,
Okay.
but I can't confirm that. Yet, what I did this week was, because I had this toe infection, I didn't know what to do with it. I took a picture of my toe and sent it to my doctor. It was the first time I've taken a picture that I ever remember of a body part, and sent it to a doctor to say, hey, what do you think about this? And anyway, by the time the doctor responded, it had healed. I used Epsom salt.
tell him
I
about
soaked my feet in Epsom salt
Yeah.
like an elderly, this is what old people do. This is why I remember my grandmother soaking her
smart
feet
people do.
in Epsom salt.
Take care of those feet.
Yeah, and sure enough, it worked. So shout out Mama Grace for
Are you going to give any more gory details of the healing process?
no.
No. Okay.
Did you lose the toenail?
You just save those for me.
Did you lose the
No,
toenail?
it's worse. It's way worse.
Nice.
Just let people imagine what
Okay. All right.
had to happen.
I gave you the
Paint
But
opportunity.
we took care of business. No surgeon needed. Dr. Moreland took care of business right there. Not that kind of doctor.
Not
though.
that kind of doctor.
It's our boy's favorite saying, Dad, you're not that kind of doctor.
Not that kind of doctor.
All right, Jesse, how about you? How you doing?
Well, I'm not gonna lie. I'm actually a little hurt because this is like the third week in a row we've talked about this prolific garden.
Oh, I know.
I have not received tomatoes or habaneros.
Oh my gosh, I was gonna totally bring them.
Yeah.
And I blame Momco because I had to be.
Oh, blame
I had
the toddlers.
No, I had to
The
be.
mothers of small children, Renee.
I had to be here with a breakfast item at 8:30. So I just forgot. I'm sorry, Jesse.
Pobrecita.
I'm sorry, Jesse.
I'm just kidding.
I'm sorry.
You're fine. It's fine. I'm just gonna come to your house and start picking things off of your.
Hey,
vine.
my,
We have a neighbor who
my
does
neighbor
that.
who does
Yeah,
that, she'll
good.
text me and she'll
Yeah.
say, "Hey, can I come over and pick some tomatoes?" And we're like, "Yep, come on." Which was funny because we were making, the TikTok feta pasta,
Yeah,
which is a great way to use cherry tomatoes.
of course.
And I mean, you can use probably 60 of them because
Sure.
you double it.
Yeah.
And that was on the menu that night, and I had purchased the feta, and she texted me. I was like, "Sure, we have plenty," and she took the
Wiped you out.
tomatoes, and we were like really having to scrounge to find them.
We still had enough.
We did.
Yeah.
But yeah, come over. Come on.
Yeah, we're gonna do it. Don't think we won't. To answer your question, similarly, I feel like I even said this a few weeks ago, but I've been trying not to be too disheartened by the mantra of adulthood is just saying things will slow down in a few weeks every week
For the rest of your life.
until you die. Yes, and that's kind of where we feel. The reality is we're going to have a forced slowdown next week. My wife is having a procedure done that's going to kind of grind our normal routine to a halt, which can actually be a good thing a lot of times. Forced rest is still rest, and slowing down when you don't necessarily want to can actually be a really helpful growth exercise. So we're praying for that, leaning into that. But yeah, we're kind of looking ahead to that procedure, and then this whole week we've had some old friends in town visiting, and it's been a blast. We've been going on all manner of hikes and children's museums and all that fun stuff, and letting the boys absolutely, because they also have two boys.
Oh, fun.
So the boys in the house right now are 3, 4, 5, and 8.
Wow.
And so it's a force of nature. And so, yeah, the boys have been playing a ton. We've been really enjoying seeing our friends. We stay up entirely too late.
Are they here on vacation?
Yeah.
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 Fun.
Yep. So they similarly have difficulty resting well. And so convincing him to leave his work laptop in Texas and just come be here for a full week was excellent and not easy for him to do. So very proud of my friend.
Oh, very cool.
But yeah, we've just been staying up irresponsibly late. And
What's irresponsibly late? Are we talking single digits?
Oh.
AM? Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's
late.
That is irresponsible.
Yeah, Katie. Yeah, so Katie and Shell are usually they retire before midnight or at midnight typically. Katie stayed up with us a little later last night, but Matt and I are usually up till past 1, pushing 2.
Oof.
Yeah. But friendship. I was talking with Autumn about this during a meeting earlier today, that it sounds really like borderline too earnest, almost cheesy, but the truth is one of the greatest gifts we have is one another. And the fact that we have community to share in our joys and our burdens, to grow and learn and fail and rejoice. Like all of this is it's all better together than separately, right?
Well said.
Yeah. A phrase I heard yesterday that stuck in my head is that a joy shared is a double joy, and a sorrow shared is half a sorrow. And that has been stuck in my craw since I heard it. So anyway, that's how we're doing. We're doing well. There's a lot happening, but our marriage is in a great spot. Our kids are crazy and amazing, and yeah, so we're good.
Nice. Cool. All right, honey. What have we learned so far?
Sorry, I just still, every time I'm like, whoa, hard right.
The hard, yeah.
Hard
We're
transition.
shifting here.
Just rip
but
that Band-Aid off.
Yeah.
Now, here's the time in the podcast where we
This
kind
is
of
the segment where we hopefully can reflect on some hard-won truths about marriage and family, and kind of share nuggets of wisdom, if we can call it that. It's hard to say what you have as wisdom, because wisdom feels like more of a revered thing than what we're doing, but
Right. But hopefully it's become... These are things that are true that we've discovered over time.
I think of them more as wisdom hacks. These are our wisdom hacks.
All right. So what have we learned so far? Which this, by the way, doesn't feel like a hack, but it's certainly something that we've discovered.
Yeah, I think we've talked about this before on the podcast, that how strange it was for us when we entered our 40s and our friends just started getting divorced left and right, and we just hadn't had that reality much in Denver, surprisingly.
Yeah.
And we had heard that, like, the kids get older and it's less physically intensive and people grow apart or whatever, but it was disarmingly prevalent how many friends we had that were just getting divorced.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's continued pretty consistently. And sometimes you're like, that isn't surprising. And sometimes it's really surprising. And I think what we were talking about earlier when we were trying to decide on what to talk about in this segment was that more and more and more we see that if your marriage is not built on something transcendent, it is unlikely to last. Maybe that's overstated, but
I don't think it is. I think what we've seen is that couples who don't have a core spiritual, not just connection with each other, but really an authentic relationship with Christ, if they don't have that, they're toast. And
I would generalize it too. Some of our friends who are of other faith systems have a transcendent commitment
that's bigger than themselves.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of including them in this as well.
Right. In the principle that you've noticed. And yet when people don't have that, they have so much more, they're so much more vulnerable to having their relationship go sideways.
Right. Even like, crazily enough, people who had so much in common and so much history and shared children.
And their personalities meshed. And
all the things that when you're looking for a partner, you look for. Like, I think that's the part that I think has been surprising that I would have always said, yeah, it's super important to have God at the center and a transcendent reality in your relationship. But there'll be some people that'll be okay just because they have this very strong crossover of interests, they have a very strong physical attraction, they have very strong whatever. But I've just been surprised, I think, in the last couple of years because we all change, right? And those things change and will. And
So if you married me just because you were attracted to my feet, for example,
You
we would be in
serious trouble. Right.
real trouble.
Right.
Yeah. No, I think this is a really, I mean, obviously we're in Christian ministry.
Right,
I'm a pastor, and it sounds even self-serving to mention this, but this is really born out of what we've seen from friends just in our orb, our neighborhood, our kids, sort of their friends' parents, and people who have been connected to fellowship. And this isn't to say that there aren't people who do really love Jesus and who are connected to him, won't sometimes get divorced, because that happens too.
Right.
And there are factors at play that might cause that to happen.
I think just as a general observation, I was trying to think of a metaphor, and I don't know, this may break down, but I was thinking, how could we describe sort of a metaphor that illustrates this principle? And I was thinking of like a house, like our home. And what's the purpose of a home? I mean, as Jesse was alluding to earlier, the purpose is to create a space for flourishing where people and kids and friends can be loved and love and connect, right? Like, I think we would all say that that's like a transcendent principle for your home. Mm-hmm. And we all want a beautiful home, right? To serve that end. But if we lose the overarching principle, like, you know, you paint your bedroom a new color and you peel the tape lines off and they're all crooked. Like, we can high center and get super thrown off by that or by something silly, right? I was even thinking about why, you know, I live with 4 boys and they just don't do a great job of picking up after themselves, right? Despite my desire or what I want. And why do I want the home to be tidy, right? Is because I want it to be a place where people flourish and love to be. But if I lose the overarching principle and I just focus on the peripheral behavior, then it just gets, it throws the balance off. You lose the focus.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
No, it totally does. It's
Whereas
about
if
priority.
you see marriage as, if there's a transcendent principle, like if you come in our house right now, and I love a clean house and I love a tidy house, but there are things that are less than perfect aesthetically, but I don't like lose my mind over them because
Right. But you could.
But I could. And I think if you transition that to relationships, that's what we often do, right? Is we lose the overarching principle and we just start getting hyper focused on something that was originally designed to serve, like, to create the overarching principle, but becomes an end in and of itself.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
No, it totally does. And I suppose the thing we've learned is that if you don't have that transcendent
overarching principle in marriage,
then you're going to find there's going to be something that you begin to focus on, and it's probably not going to be very stable, or it's going to show itself to be lacking at some point in your relationship.
Yeah.
So I actually mention this a lot now in pre-marriage counseling. I have more and more couples who I help who aren't Christians, who don't really have they're sort of secondarily kind of connected to fellowship or whatever, and which I really love connecting with those couples. But even in those counseling sessions, I'm always referring to like, hey, you have the reasons why you believe what you believe right now, and you're going to need to not shut this door. Because experientially, if you don't have this, you're going to sort of pay for it at some point in your relationship.
I just feel like it absorbs all the slights, and it absorbs all the inconveniences.
Yep.
Just like if our main goal is that we have a happy home that people love to be in and feel nurtured in, who cares that my floors need to be redone, right? Like, or who cares? It absorbs some of those things that can become a hyper focus. And I think it does the same thing relationally. Like, no, this isn't perfect, or he's not perfect, or this isn't exactly how I'd want it, but it's okay because God put us together, and God has a purpose for our marriage and has a useful plan for us here in Denver. Like, it just absorbs some of the smaller slights.
I think that's a great sort of principle that you highlight here, Renee. And I really appreciate you mentioning this. And it is something that we've learned. We knew it intellectually.
I just think it
was like a commitment,
We've
but now we've
observed it.
really seen it. Sort of several years in, now we've really seen it. And and so hopefully it's a helpful reminder for folks out there too. Like, what are you going to focus on? What's most important in your relationship with your spouse? And
even to have that conversation, like, is there something transcendent that supersedes our relationship, or that kind of overarches our commitment to each other? I think that's just an important conversation to have, if you're in a good season or if you're in a tough season.
Yeah. Good.
All right.
Thanks. What we've learned so far.
What we've learned so far in the strangely forced serious segment that comes right after the intro. Just kidding.
Nice. All right, everyone. It is time for Article Talk.
I feel like we need a jingle here. Come on, Jesse, do you have a jingle offhand?
I mean, we do the little interstitial bit
I
between
know,
everything.
but there needs to be
another thing.
Another one?
There needs to be a verbal
forward
jingle.
For
Article Talk. I feel like I see like Blue's Clues or something when we say Article Talk.
I look forward to hearing what you come up with.
I'll work on it.
All right. Today's article is entitled "The Secret to Discipline No One Ever Talks About." It's an article you can find on Inc. We have it linked. So hopefully you've already read it. And if you haven't,
it's very short.
It will only take
it's a quick one.
About 4 minutes to read.
This was an interesting selection because it's not a relationship article. It's a business article.
So do you want to give a quick summary just of the article? And then I can maybe connect it to...
You selected it. So maybe since it isn't a relationship article, why don't you give us a rationale for choosing to talk about this in a relationship context?
Okay. So first of all, the article, very briefly, the writer says, there is a secret to discipline that he says no one ever talks about. It's not totally true. Some people talk about it, but I get what he's saying. And it kind of goes like this, that if you want to begin or start a new habit or a healthy pattern in your life, oftentimes one thinks of just needing to sort of muster up enough self-control, willpower in order to wake up, 20 minutes earlier so you can have your quiet time, or wake up an hour earlier so you can have your workout, or turn the TV off, an hour earlier so you can read a chapter a day in your book. And what he says is that
that doesn't work.
That often doesn't work. Rather, what works is two things. One, you have to change your environment. So in order to start a new habit or a healthy sort of pattern that you want to instill in
Yeah,
your
I think
life.
he was saying if you really want change, if you want lasting change,
Then don't just think about the behavior
Right.
you want to begin. You need to think about, how do I shift my environment that is conducive to that behavior
Right.
that I want to start?
so it makes it easy.
Right.
It doesn't make it like it takes so much gumption and willpower to make it happen. It makes doing it easy.
Right. So, like, a classic example is like, okay, if you want to wake up early in the morning to start your workout routine, well, then the night that actually starts the night before. You actually have to create steps that make it easier for you to make it more likely that you're going to wake up. So you don't just set your alarm, but you actually put your clothes out and you have
Or even-
coffee ready to go.
Or even better, you have to, your work is 6 miles away and you've decided to bike instead of drive there. And so you have to get to work, right? So it creates an environment where you can't not do it.
right. So
Like you don't have a car and you have to get there. So if you're wanting to exercise more, if you change that in your environment, you either don't go to work, which often is not an option, or you do it.
right. So you eliminate a lot of decision points
Right.
that you could
that are
say
the-
no to along the way.
Totally.
So that's environment. And then the second thing he mentioned was, he references accountability
Yeah.
partners. Like,
Which felt like very like modern Christian language.
So Christianese.
Christian-
yes, yeah,
totally.
even though it's not obviously
No.
it's not.
And
a
he called
Christian-
them accountability partners.
Yeah,
Yeah.
use that language. But basically, it was like, you need people in your life who will hold you accountable to these new behaviors that you want to instill.
Or the
And-
new environment you're creating.
Right, both and, but
Mm-hmm.
in particular, the actual behaviors, like you have to have people in your life who are going to be conducive to this new change.
Yep.
And that's going to be really important if you want to have this quote unquote discipline actually reflective in your life.
Mm-hmm.
So those are the secrets of discipline no one ever talks about. Okay, so that's a very brief article, talks about this principle that I think is important, and there's lots of books that kind of support these basic ideas. Now, why is this important for marriage? Here's why it's important. A lot of couples who want to have a better marriage just think to themselves, well, I just need to be a better spouse. I just need to encourage my spouse to be better to me. They think of having a better marriage in terms of
Individual behaviors.
and willpower.
Right.
What they don't do, which is what I often have to help couples sort of see, is you actually have to change your environment to create a context in which having a better marriage is possible.
And easier.
That there are so many different things in one's environment when marriage is really tough. There's often several features in the environment that daily war against the possibility of having a flourishing relationship. And often the couple, they've become so accustomed to it that they don't really see it. And so part of the work to improve their relationship isn't even working on their relationship. It's actually working on their environment that makes a relationship flourish.
Okay, so give us some examples.
So here's a classic thing that that couples can do almost instantly to create a better environment for a healthy relationship. And number one is, always recommend, do a schedule audit. So we're having a hard time connecting. We don't, we're feeling distant from each other. Then it's like, okay, let me see your calendar. Mm-hmm. Where do those calendars overlap? Oftentimes they don't overlap, hardly at all. At some point along the way, combination of work and often family and kids and other priorities have hijacked their life at some point a long time ago. And the the result of that is that they've never actually regularly spend meaningful time together. So how can
Without it being, because a date night or would be scheduled and would require initiation, and in some ways would require willpower, right, to like make it happen. Whereas if you look at your broader schedule for a schedule audit, if you create spaces where you're in the same place at the same time regularly, it just creates an opportunity for connection that isn't like, wow, we should really get a date on the calendar. We should really schedule that.
Right. It's not forced. And then oftentimes now, if the choice is between nothing and scheduling a date night, by all means, schedule the date night. And it can be fine. It's a good first step. And maybe for some couples, that is the thing to do. And yet, oftentimes, that becomes really frustrating because if you don't have lives that are overlapping and all you have is a scheduled date night, usually
you bring a lot of resentment into the date
lot
night.
of resentment. There's a lot of bitterness that's there. And so those date nights are really terrible experiences. You don't want to spend time together. All you experience is sort of complaints that are like built up, because you haven't been able to connect. Now, I think if you have the right mentality and the right game plan, even with those date nights, you can kind of work through all of that and you can find some real health in that process. But that would be step one. The idea though, is to look more, as you mentioned, holistically and say, how do we get our lives to actually begin to map on each other better? That will probably involve making some decisions that might be upsetting to maybe some people or expectations that people have in your life, work, broader family commitments or neighborhood commitments or school commitments or whatever. You probably gonna have to disappoint some people in the process, but in so doing, begin to prioritize creating an environment that's conducive to a healthy marriage. And we've just found that if you don't, like, you reap what you sow, what you invest in, eventually that's what you're going to get as a result. So, create
I feel like we've had to do that. I don't know when we started, maybe a year or so ago, where we realized, and I get up early, but Dave gets up really early. And we realized we didn't get up at the same time any day of the week. So you got up before me and was either gone or somewhere
every day of the week.
And we were like, this isn't healthy.
We felt something was up.
So you gave up a commitment on Wednesday morning to not do something you love so that we can sit in the dark and drink coffee and moan that we have to get up so early together.
And it wasn't anything crazy.
Right.
And it wasn't like this grand gesture. It was just, okay, I'm going to say no to this thing so that we still wake up just as early because we make the coffee and then we sip it together in bed in the dark and kind of drift sometimes in and out of sleep. But
and the listener asks, why are you drinking it in the dark?
Because it's dark outside.
Yep.
And we have dogs we don't want to wake up.
Right,
That's the main reason. And children we don't want. Although we could hit them over the head with a sledgehammer at this point.
They're old enough.
They don't get up.
So that is an example.
What would be some other things as far as just environmental adjustments that would be examples of this?
Well, I mean, we've talked about our Fridays for years now, but
that's a schedule thing too.
It is a schedule thing. I would say even what you talked about a few weeks ago with regular flowers, like on Friday, flowers on Friday, it may not feel spontaneous, like, it's Fresh Flower Friday. It still can do, like, it is a weekly reminder, like, hey, I value you. And a weekly reminder that I know you value things that are pretty and that are nice but it's in some sense it's environmental. I mean,
Yeah.
literally, there's the fresh flowers
Right.
that actually brighten up our living room.
I think too, I was thinking of, this is a marital environmental example, but also a familial environmental example. Like right before our oldest son went to college, we wanted to do something to connect as a family. And we live, for those who listen who are local, we live 6 blocks north of Cherry Creek North. So Cherry Creek North is there's a shopping center, a mall, tons of restaurants, tons of retail. But we thought, let's go eat at a place we like to eat at as a family and go to the movie. And we thought, let's walk to Little Ollie's and then walk to the movie and then walk home. And we knew it would be really late getting home, but we thought we instead of, hey boys, you need to connect with your brothers, right? Instead of like commanding a behavior or like, hey, talk to each other, we thought of the environment that would produce that.
Which was walking
So we walked
45 minutes
Yeah.
to the restaurant.
Yeah.
Eating. We had 2 hours to eat.
Mm-hmm.
And then we walked to the movies.
Mm-hmm.
We watched the movie. And then
we kind of got trapped in the mall
we got out. It was past 1 a.m.
when the movie was over.
When the movie was over.
And we walked to the exit closest. So we kind of had to walk, for those of you who know the Cherry Creek Mall, we walked from the movie theater to Nordstrom because the Nordstrom exit is going toward our house. And there's an outdoor exit that's like a hallway beside Nordstrom. Locked. So then we were like, oh no, I hope they haven't locked, because of course we were the last movie out that night.
Yeah. So we had to exit via the garage. But even that, though, once we got out of the mall, created an environment
Yeah.
for
connection.
everyone to laugh and
Yeah.
be silly and, annoy each other. And
And
rather than
make fun of each other, which is what teenage boys do.
So-
That's the love language of teenage boys.
Well, the easy thing would have been just to drive home, and we could have been home in 3 minutes. But instead, we walked home, and it created an environment for them to connect. So I suppose the point why I like this article is that it makes me think of simple things that I can do and we can do to create an environment that fosters the kind of dynamics I think are good and healthy without putting the pressure just on those dynamics.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of agency there, and it feels like, hey, there's some things we can do to help along the way. And it makes you think creatively too. And I think that's cool.
What about his second point with accountability? Like how would you see that applied in marriage and relationships?
Well, I think having people in your life, close people in your life who value marriage.
Yeah.
And who know its importance and how sacred it is, and that they're the ones who's speaking into your life and really influencing you on sort of marital issues that you might face. And that's really important because there are a lot of good people out there who may care for us and in their mind want what's best for us, but they actually don't value marriage in the same way that we do. And they're not the accountability partner that you want for your marriage, because they're gonna say, hey, you do what's best for you, and may
knowing that you have the
side with you
Yeah.
inadvertently against your marriage.
Right. Just knowing that you have the people that if you start making decisions to undermine your marriage, they would say, hey, what are you doing? Like knowing that there's those people.
Yep. Yeah.
And I think that's a hard space to be in right now, because we're very much in let people do them, and like, I don't feel like I'm not.
Like,
I don't
do
feel
whatever
like,
makes you happy.
I don't feel like I'm very confrontational. I mean, it's like, I'm watering my garden. I'm tending my garden, and Your garden's your garden. I mean, I do have some spaces where I would feel comfortable having those conversations, but I think generally, as a culture, we don't have those conversations.
We don't. Or to have that conversation, we feel like we have to have permission to be invited into it.
Right. Asked our opinion.
Yes.
Yeah. Yep.
So, but this guy's point is that if you want to see significant change towards health, and then we can think marital health, then we have
He's talking about company health.
Yeah, he is. So there's some stretches here, but I do think the principle holds. Having people who you give permission to speak into your life and into your marriage is really critical.
Good.
Yeah.
Jesse, what do you think?
Yeah, it was funny because you first sent it, and I read almost everything in like reader mode, like RSS mode, to get ads and all that stuff out of there. Anyway, I thought it was loading weird because it's 3 paragraphs. When I first pulled it up, I was like, oh man, I must have missed something. Nope. It's just a pithy little business article, but and I did laugh a little bit at the accountability partner language because I was like, oh, I'm back in Christian college in the mid 2000s.
Right.
But I do think that I've actually benefited tremendously from both aspects of this, where in many ways, like
In the context of your marriage.
yeah, like if you're trying to establish new habits, there's a chance that the reason you need to build new habits is because you have fallen into bad ones. And so often that can be environmental. And so by simply trying to do a new thing in a new place, you can, I feel like we personally have seen a lot of growth there, and it clicks a little faster, or it shakes stuff up. And then, yeah, part of the beauty of having other couples as friends especially is that you can share in what you're trying to work out and invite them into like calling you to accountability in that as well. And so
hey Jesse, if I ever start making really bad relationship decisions, would you please shake me and say, Renee, what are you doing?
Yeah, gladly.
I'm giving you permission.
Yeah.
I'm giving you and Shell permission.
Yeah, gladly. And sometimes this the shadow, not even shadow side, but like the other side of that blade is that sometimes you think things are fine, and you'll have trusted friends who will come to you and be like, hey, I've heard how you've been talking to each other the last few times we've hung out. You guys okay? We're like, yeah, we're fine. They're like, well, yeah, because you keep saying this and this and that, and you're really short with each other, or you're way too sarcastic and there's no like sugar to balance the spice. And we're like, oh, okay, yeah, let's figure that out. Yeah. And sometimes it's nothing, and sometimes it leads to really good, helpful conversations.
Yeah.
So now there's, as with all things, you have to be willing to invite people into it with honesty.
Yeah.
And you shouldn't invite feedback that you're not willing to actually receive.
Yeah.
But I want feedback that I agree with.
Yeah, exactly.
That's really what I mean.
do.
Exactly.
We all do. In
That's
the
what
wanna
I
be
mean by
pandered
feedback.
to, and yeah, just affirm every decision I'm making, regardless of whether or not it's actually good. But this really is like one of the more invaluable aspects of friendship, and specifically Christian fellowship, is that I know that when you bring something up, it's not just you trying to poke holes in my marriage, or out of jealousy trying to make it seem like something is there that isn't there. At the end of the day, I trust that if one of you came to us with an observation, you're not just doing it for the sake of it, right? There's mutual buy-in. You are invested in our marriage because our marriage is a picture, even if it's just a reflection in a dim mirror, right? Our marriage is a reflection of Christ's love for his church. And so how our marriage as believers, as leaders in ministry, our marriage reflects Christ to those around us. And so as fellow believers, as fellow saints and ministers of the gospel. You have skin in our marriage.
Yeah.
In the same way that we have skin in your marriage.
Yeah.
And
Jesse, I feel like you've been coming with the truth bombs lately. I feel like the last couple episodes, I just want to be like, yes.
Preaching, Jesse.
Preach, Jesse.
I'm just,
we need to introduce a segment, Truth Bomb by Jesse.
God.
Yes.
Hey, listen.
Season 4.
You guys joke. Listen, I talk too much anyway. But you guys joke about the hard won marriage advice segment. But this is really the truth of it. And when I say stuff is hard won, this is what I'm talking about. Like this is not something that I magically thought of. This is because like we've fought and bled for our marriage.
Yeah.
And we have fought and bled for our friends' marriages. And again, there is so much. It's that same idea. Like a joy shared is a double joy, and a sorrow shared is half a sorrow. Exactly. And this comes with our relationships. This comes with how we share the gospel with one another, how we encourage and how we challenge one another. And so, don't be afraid to invite someone into your life to act as that accountability partner. You need it. They're called blind spots for a reason, right?
Truth Bomb by Jesse.
Yes.
Sure.
Yes.
Please don't call it that.
Too late.
I learned it from watching you.
All right, guys. Article talk.
Yay. It was a good one, honey.
Yeah.
It was an unexpectedly relevant selection.
And all in 3 paragraphs.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was a short one.
Concise.
All right. Spouse advice.
Everyone's favorite segment.
Yes.
The segment where we acknowledge sometimes it's better to hear something from an outside source than from your spouse, because over the years there are those blind spots where you can say something and say something and say something.
We're just being accountability partners.
Yes. To the world.
Yeah. Well, to the opposite gendered spouses out there.
In the world. Okay. So the idea is we take turns offering helpful advice to the opposite gendered spouse.
Yes. And I think it's your turn.
It is my turn.
And I have no idea what you're going to say.
No, and Dave's been trying to get me to tell him what I was going to say, and I've been unwilling. Are you nervous?
No, I'm excited.
Okay.
Should I be nervous?
Nope.
Okay.
There's segments. There's sometimes you should be, but
I know,
not
and
today.
I feel it.
Yeah, not today. I think a lot of, and particularly with children, a lot of frustration in relationships is often around presence. So I feel like in our context, and I think this happens in a lot of relationships, it's like, hey, what time are you going to be home? And what happens, it's never like, oh, that meeting got out early. It's never that, right? It's always, I had to talk to somebody else, or that meeting went long, or I got caught on the way out. Like it feels like that's the norm, right? Would you agree? Probably for both of us, right?
Absolutely.
So
there's a principle. There's like a name for that dynamic.
like a Occam's razor or something like that.
Yeah.
That's like,
I don't know what it is, but it's something like it. Things rarely are executed perfectly
more quickly than expected. It usually takes longer.
Yeah.
And I think for us, I just expect I build that in. And so, and this doesn't happen very often, and I'm not complaining that it doesn't. But occasionally you'll just show up and not tell me, and you'll just show up and it's like, I wasn't expecting, like, if you say you're going to be home at 5, I'm like, hopefully he's home by 6. And sometimes you'll just show up like at 2. And I'm like, is everything okay? And you're like, yeah, I just wanted to come home. And I think that occasional surprise, it is so helpful and so uplifting and encouraging. And I think to have your mind set on kind of what you're going to have to do to finish the day, and then to just have and obviously this can't happen all the time, right? We all have responsibilities. But if husbands, if you can and maybe wives too. But if you can just occasionally surprise your wife and be present in a time she doesn't think you're going to be present, I think it is just so encouraging. So encouraging. I mean, if you can do that once a month or, I mean, I can remember, like I said, it doesn't happen very often, but it happened recently. And I don't know I can't remember why you were able to leave or if something got canceled. I don't remember. If you might remember the details.
No,
but I think
don't
that
remember
gift of presence unexpectedly is just like a shot of encouragement and adrenaline exponentially.
That's some great spouse advice.
Do you think so?
No, totally, because I do think there.
I think we're always
There are
we're clamoring for presence, and most of us with busy schedules, which it feels like everybody's that,
Right.
or just clamoring for space. And when you plan for it, when you know it's coming, I think there's expectations that are imposed on it, and then sometimes that ruins it, right? Because if it's just like completely, you don't have time to put expectations on it, or you don't have time to think how it's going to go. It's just like here's a gift, and you're like, oh my gosh. What do we do with this?
Well, it's helpful. It's helpful for me to hear this advice because there are lots.
Oh, it is, huh?
Yeah. Because I have so many husbands out there that I'm gonna
Right. Okay.
because there's always like when the schedule suddenly frees up. There are always
Something else you can work on.
responsibilities
Totally.
and things.
Totally.
Because of the nature
Yeah.
of our work.
Right.
There's always something I can do that has a measure of urgency to it.
Right.
And when it's like, no, like, okay, I'm gonna go home early and I'm gonna surprise Renee or do something. Hearing you say that is even more motivation to when I have those opportunities that pop up, like, hey, that's worth it. Like the payoff there relationally, the joy and is great. And so when I can do it, let's do it, so that's actually great to hear.
Okay. So that's my spouse advice.
Love it.
Very good. Very good. Thanks, honey.
Yeah.
All right. Hot and cold.
We're kind of doing this jointly today, right?
It's a joint.
It's a joint hot cold because we talked about it and we both are really hot on it.
Yes. Okay. So maybe give the people out there, let them know recently what happened, and then talk about the thing that we're actually hot about that's related to the thing that happened.
Okay, I don't exactly know the order you want me to talk about this, but this is what I'm going with.
Yeah. Go for it.
So you all know we're big sports fans and we love sports, and so there's a reality out there. So if you think of college sports in particular, there are like big ticket college sports, right? Football, basketball, big ticket college sports, bringing gazillion dollars, these huge programs. It's a corporate endeavor essentially. And there's these conferences that are
$1 billion.
yes, and that they're the main conferences where the very best of the best are, right? The SEC, the Big Ten, the ACC, right? And in some of these conferences, there's schools that really are just nerd schools. They're smarty schools that are somehow in these conferences that
To like raise like the GPA.
totally that
the
have
entire conference.
that have like theoretically have like big time sports, but they're never competitive, right? They're never like. I think of Vanderbilt. I think of Northwestern. So our
God
son,
bless them.
God
bless
bless
those
them.
schools. Yeah.
But our son goes to one of these schools that it really is just a smarty school, but they're in a major conference. And I think it's fun that they get to watch all these really big time programs. Teams come to town and they play them, but nobody really has the expectation that these teams are going to compete in these conferences, right? So the first weekend of college football, Jesse totally knows where I'm going with this. The first weekend of college football, our son's school played one of the top ranked teams in the country at their house, in Florida. So Boston College played, and Boston College is in the ACC, which is a big conference with Clemson and Florida State and like these big schools. And everyone expected a slaughter because
they were like
22-point underdogs or something
crazy.
And these smarty schools, they never really do that great. And it was on national television. It was the only game actually on Labor Day. And miraculously, Boston College not just won.
Yeah.
They
Stomped
dominated them.
on their turf.
Yes. In the Florida heat. I mean, guys were getting cramps left and right. Like it was not a great, like for Bostonians to go down to is it the swamp?
No, that's Florida.
It's
That's Florida
Tallahassee.
State.
What is it called? I can't remember.
Doak Stadium, but
Yeah.
yeah,
Anyway.
I
it's
forget what
hot
they call
and
the turf.
humid.
Yeah.
So, long story. So, we had so much fun, and we cheer for them anyway. Will's there. We had so much fun cheering for them. And then Will, who never posts anything on social media, posted about sports in his Insta stories, which Dave and I were like, what is happening? And then he said the next day.
And it's the first text I've ever received from my son, initiated by him about sports.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
The text was, "Dad, are you watching the game?" And I'm like, "Well, of course I'm watching the game." I'm like, "Will, you're watching the game?" And yes, he was with his friends. And
Yeah. So, anyway.
so what's the hot
So what
on?
we're hot on is we are hot on like going full steam on an underdog and just following it and hyping him,
Just riding
And-
that train.
Yes, and by the time this airs, the Eagles probably will have lost 3 games in a row.
It's going to be like the Buffs last
Totally,
year. They
totally.
start with
Start with
3 crazy wins and then just
Yeah.
get the doors blown off them the
but
rest of the
for
season.
the moment being, we are so hot on. Wilson campus was just like electric the
I'm
next
sure.
day. So we're super hot on following an underdog team and just going full send with them.
Yeah.
It's such a fun
It's
train
so
to
fun.
get on. Yeah.
So fun.
Yeah, I saw him post that story and we were chatting. I was like, I cannot believe I'm DMing Will Moreland about sports.
About football,
Like, what
especially
is
football.
happening?
Yeah,
Oh, that's
so
fun.
we're hot on the Boston College Eagles, and they're like scrappy. I think their team is known for being really classy and really just a lot of good guys. A lot of their good players with all the NIL transfer portal. 2 of their main players should have left because, like I said, Boston College is not a known program, and they could have transferred anywhere.
Gotten millions.
Yeah, and they did, and they stayed. So they're known for being like loyal and hardworking and just a good bunch of guys.
Easy to root for.
Easy to root for.
And when you see them have a win and you see them begin to believe, hey, we may have something here. It's a lot of fun to
So fun.
support that.
Yep. So we are full send cheering for the Boston College Eagles.
Yes, go underdogs.
Roll leagues.
All right.
All right, guys.
Thanks for listening.
Any questions, comments, or concerns?
You need
Wait,
to preview our next
Yeah.
article.
I was going to say you're jumping the shark.
I know. And I share this article with some hesitation.
Yeah.
Why,
This
Dave?
this will be a really interesting, not what you think conversation. So remember that when you hear it.
Right. So the name of the article is, first of all, it's studyfinds.org. And the name of the article is study, female psychopaths are surprisingly common.
Oh, send us emails now. Start your emails coming now.
Start the thread now so we can get your thoughts before you read it, after you read it.
And then the questions about why are you posting this?
Or why are you reading this?
Yeah.
Just
read it
read it.
and come into the conversation with us with an open mind.
Hey guys, I think I'm going to be sick next week. I don't think I'm going to be able to be here.
I think you have some personal things going on.
Yeah, I don't know. I think you're on your own for this one.
So it is, I think it's an article about a study. Mm-hmm. And as the title suggests, the researcher is making, is saying that science says that female psychopaths are more common than what we might think.
Just resist the urge. I feel like you're going into qualification mode.
Yeah.
Just resist. Just throw it out there,
Okay.
and then we will discuss this next week.
Okay.
Also, you said psychopaths, and I can't let you get away with that.
What, psychopaths?
No, you said cycle.
Oh,
Like
did
a
I say
bicycle. You said psychopaths. I was like, can't let that slide.
You did that because you were trying to mask the reality of the title of the article.
Psychopaths.
Psycho.
Cycle.
No, now I'm saying it on purpose.
Female
okay.
psychopaths.
Amazing. All right. Well, enjoy reading that little article, and we'll talk about it next week.
Have a great week.
Hey, where should people send their feedback or questions?
Yeah,
all
Jesse.
to-
Jesse.
Hey, you know what? Bring it.
No, Dave at fellowshipdenver.org.
Renee at fellowshipdenver.org.
Jesse at fellowshipdenver.org.
All right.
All right. See you guys.
Bye. See you next
Bye.
week.
Let your